Hello again, everyone. Steve Beverly here once again, and it is good to have you with us on Union University basketball. We've been away for about a month while we've had an extended break, but now we're back at Fred DeLay Gymnasium. But I need to tell you something before we go to Coach Dave Niven. This was supposed to be a doubleheader, as all of our telecasts are supposed to be until we get to the playoffs in late February. But we got the word about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon that we had a situation with the Auburn-Montgomery women's team in which, because of COVID, possible flu outbreak, as well as injuries, that they just did not have the minimum required number of players available to field a team against Union today. So that game that was scheduled to be at 2 o'clock, we were supposed to be on there at 1:45, that has been postponed. And we should have some kind of word about a potential makeup date later in the coming week. So it's men only today, as the Bulldogs will be taking on Auburn-Montgomery. They're healthy enough. And so we're glad to have Coach Dave Niven here with us to preview all about what we're going to see between Union and AUM this afternoon. And Dave, not only good to have you with us, but Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Steve. Good to be with you.
Well, this has been really, I think, without any dispute whatsoever, this has been a tremendous first half of the season for the Bulldogs, and they have played at the top of their potential and even against tough competition when the victory was not there, and that hasn't happened too often. You have absolutely had a lot of cohesion on this team, and they're playing with a mission, it appears to be. Give us your assessment as to where they are as opposed to where you thought they might be.
I think we've had a really good start. I don't think any of us are too surprised, honestly, by the success we've had. We really felt like we had a very good team coming into the year, and I've been pleased with our guys, just how they prepare, the togetherness that they have. There's an unselfishness about them, particularly with minutes. When we're playing 10 guys, and that means every player is playing less than what they would on a normal team. So there's been a lot of good. I think there's still a lot of room for growth. We've been very good defensively for the most part. Every night, been pretty consistent there. On the offensive side of the ball, I don't feel like our shooting percentages are where they should be, and that's really going to be an emphasis for us moving forward. It's just trying to improve in that area and become more efficient on offense.
Let's also talk about something that we haven't spent a lot of time on before Christmas, because it's been almost a month since we've been with you with a home game. But let's talk about your assistants on this staff and what their roles are and what you do to incorporate them more into areas of responsibility.
Yeah, I'm blessed with a really good staff. Starts with Easton. He's been with us for 5 years now. And he is involved in every aspect of our program, from recruiting to player development to academics, to on the floor coaching to game prep. There is no part of the job that he is not privy to. And, that's really the way Coach Turner helped me learn how to coach. It's important that for me, that my assistants get the same experience, and when they become a head coach, it's my goal is that they never have to experience something as a head coach that they didn't get to be at least be a part of as an assistant. And so you can't do that unless you have really talented people, and Easton is great. Does a phenomenal job in all of those areas. So really, really blessed that he's with us. He's going to be a great head coach. So I think that day is coming, probably sooner than later. And he's going to be a great head coach somewhere someday. So, Christian is our first year GA, and ultimately that's a job where it is what you make it. We give you responsibilities, and then determining on how you do and what that looks like is what opens the door for more and more opportunities. And so Christian does a great job right now. He and Easton split scouts. So what that typically looks like is one of them is in charge of the preparation for on a typical week in conference. We might play a Thursday, Saturday. One of them is in charge of the Thursday opponent, and the other one's in charge of the Saturday opponent, so that when you've got that quick turnaround in between games, somebody on the staff is already really, really knowledgeable about what this team does, and we can be prepared and have a really good practice on Friday.
Let's talk about keys. You talked actually about some of them right there, but overall keys to the game today as far as your guys are concerned.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it starts with defense. Our ability to stay in front. They set a lot of ball screens. Ball screen defense will be key. Post defense will be key. So that's going to be the start for us. Then on the offensive side, we have been a pretty good team of taking care of the basketball. Our goal is to be under 16% of possessions ending in a turnover. We've been really right at around 16% all year. So we'd like to be better than what we have been, but we've done an adequate job of taking care of the basketball, getting shots. We've typically taken more shots than our opponents have. We've typically taken more free throws than our opponents have. We've just got to become more efficient at both of those spots. We're right at over 70% from the free throw line. We have nights where we're phenomenal and nights where we're pretty bad, and I'd like to see some more consistency there. But shooting 45% from the field, I think we're better than that. I think we should be a team that's a lot closer to 50% from the field, and we've got some players that I think are really, really good players that are shooting below that. And I think we've talked with them and challenged them with that, and that's something that I hope we'll see really improve over the second half of the year.
Dave, we wish you a lot of good luck this afternoon. And now let's go down to the court, Fred DeLay Gymnasium, for your starting lineups. Montgomery comes in at 5-9 on the season, and here are their starters. Isaiah Hart had 27 points in an 83-81 victory over Christian Brothers this past Thursday night. Jeremiah Bozeman, he's a guy that can hit from anywhere on the court. 6 out of 13 he was in his Thursday night outing, strong from the free throw line. James Graham knocked down 13 rebounds and 13 points in that same game. Sam Youngblood was the fourth guy that hit in double figures with 10 points against CBU. And Roderick Smith rounds them out. He can give you double digits, but he had 9 points on Thursday night, picked up 3 big field goals. For the Bulldogs, Tyree Boykin leads the way, leading scorer on the team, 21 in his last outing against West Georgia. And then you got Hunter Vick. Hunter can hit from outside at any point in the game. Add to that, Ty Parks. Ty is one of these that when he's hot, he can really nail it. He had 6 rebounds against West Georgia. Bo Gidgel, his top outing of the season, 26 points he put on the boards against West Georgia. And then in the starting lineup the first time is Mikhail Simmons. He's the big guy who can deliver from anywhere on the floor.
In Jesus' name, amen.
the introduction of today's starting lineups, and brought to you by Worthy Road Studios, the finest in event, sports, and religious service production all across West Tennessee. As you see the Auburn Montgomery starters being introduced, as we just told you, this is a ball club that their 5-9 record may well be deceiving because of the fact they've won their last two. They had a triple overtime victory against Christian Brothers on Thursday night in a game that, because of COVID restrictions in Memphis, that no spectators were allowed in the game. There's one change to the starting lineups for Union. Instead of Bo Gidgel, J.C. Hawkins, the veteran, the graduate student, is going to be starting tonight. And the leading scorer, Tyree Boykin. Hunter Vick, who's averaging 12 a game and 6 rebounds. Ty Parks, the senior from Pocahontas, Tennessee. And there's Mikhail Simmons. He is also a graduate student from Murphy, Texas. And there you have it. Union coming in undefeated, high atop the Trans-South Conference at 6-0 in conference play, 12-2 overall. But it has been 8 days since Union has seen the court. It was just 2 nights ago that the Warhawks were down against Christian Brothers. So this is going to be one to see how Union is going to shake off the inactivity of 8 days. Their last game on December 30th against West Georgia. And it's going to be Parks who will jump it against Graham, and Union with the tip. Unfortunately, probably a combination of the fact that, and there's one on the inside, and the turnaround is not there. Nice defense on the part of Isaiah Hart. Because of the fact that you've got remnants of icy weather, although the streets are pretty well clear in West Tennessee and in Jackson in particular, but you largely just do not have a lot of folks getting out this afternoon. Union is on its January term, but campus was closed the last 2 days because of the icy weather. So we may have primarily a few interested friends and family members in the arena. And probably some confusion because the women's game was canceled because Auburn Montgomery could not field enough players because of COVID protocols, and that's the offensive foul. You can see the elbow that he led with, and Hart is charged with the first foul of the contest. But we hope for those of you who are staying inside and warm that you're going to enjoy being with us for the next couple of hours as we bring you the Bulldogs attempting to go for their 13th victory in their 15 outings on the season. But Auburn Montgomery would love nothing better than to pull an upset. They gave Union, they did not play last year, and going to the line is going to be Simmons. That foul is charged to James Graham. He's a junior from Maywood, Illinois. So Simmons goes to the line for 2. The women's game will be, we anticipate, made up at some point in the immediate future. They've got to work out travel schedules because this is one that probably would have to be played on a Monday or Tuesday night in order to not get into all kinds of issues with the rest of the schedule for the conference. So just keep looking at online on the Union UUathletics.com page, and we'll be letting you know whether and when the women's game against AUM will be. And a nice left-handed hook. Beautiful drive on the inside by Isaiah Hart to tie it. And from the corner, yes, the bucket was good for Ty Parks. He got an outstanding roll inside the lid. Ty is one who will put up that three almost any time, and That's one thing that I know Dave Niven is he'll be talking to us a little bit more about, but he wants to see the shooting percentage of this Bulldog team improve. He says we can do better than what we've done. Fall-away jumper is not there for Graham, and Parks the rebound. Parks averaging 7 rebounds a game to lead this team. Had an opportunity before the game tonight, and that's an offensive foul. That's going to be charged to Tyree Boykin, leading with the elbow. So it's kind of an even one for the other on each end of the court. Had a wonderful opportunity to meet the father of Shanique Lucas, one of Union's outstanding women's players, before tonight's game. He is here visiting and had so hoped that he would be able to see his daughter play today. But, of course, with that game being canceled, that's not going to happen. Layup goes through for Roderick Smith. And he told me that he is going to be leaving later this evening and is going to be getting a connecting flight and will be flying back to Thailand, where he lives right now with the rest of the Lucas family. Of course, Shanique's sister is here on campus. She's redshirting this year. And on the inside, and Simmons just was too light on it. A lot of times you'll have a player that will bang it home so hard that it misses, but just a little bit too light on getting that perfect lob on the inside. And working one-on-one against Simmons, Fallaway is there. Roderick Smith showing wonderful balance. He's a junior from Crystal Springs, Mississippi, a transfer from Western Illinois, and the Bulldogs turn it over. For Union, that is the second turnover of the contest. This is one, Union is not under any kind of COVID restrictions as far as the number of fans that could come into Fred DeLay, even though we have had an increase, a sharp rise in the number of COVID cases in Madison County in the last 2 weeks. But today's just one of those days, and on the inside, that was a beautiful feed into Graham to give him his first basket. But this is just one of those Saturday afternoons with the change in the schedule. And Simmons tried a double spin move and lost it. And it's going to be picked up. Vic was very alert to pick that one up. And the three by Parks this time goes a little bit left. But as I say, we hope you'll just enjoy being with us for the rest of the afternoon as we try to bring you the finest in Gulf South Conference basketball. That was sheer speed on the part of Vic, and instead of going straight in, he tried to do a reverse layup, and that may have been the problem. From the corner, the three is not there, and the rebound comes off. J.C. Hawkins. His experience is what Dave Niven is counting on, and all the way on the inside, and it hung up on the lip. Parks had it all the way and just didn't get the geometry right. And the same thing on the back end for the Warhawks. Vic feeds on the outside, and the three is there for Parks. That's his second three-pointer of the afternoon, and Union not sit back up. We played this first 5 minutes extremely quickly. It's almost like everybody's in a hurry to get home. They're going to go inside to Smith. He's double-teamed, and it's stolen. Perfect double-teaming to knock that one away. Simmons had a lot to do with that. They go high with him, and it's over. They tried to go inside to Parks. And that's the second time they have missed one of those give and goes on the inside, and we have our first media timeout, and it's all tied up at 8. Well, coaches usually have an idea as to who their go-to players will be in a down-to-the-wire game. Well, earlier, Dave Niven told us how that scenario works with him.
I think really it starts with the kind of shots you're taking, making sure we're getting good shots. I think for the most part we take pretty good shots. We've got a couple of players that I think take tough shots, but have earned the right to take tough shots. And so What's a good shot for one player may not be a good shot for another player. Not everybody's created equal when it comes to shot selection. And that's based on your track record, what you've done in the past.
And Niven is, you can see he's not happy with the execution. I can tell by the number of shakes of the head. He's not happy with the execution that he has seen, and particularly this team has missed 3 relatively easy layups, and it was a case of probably getting just a little bit too cute with it. And so this is a good adjustment time for the Bulldogs at this stage of the game. Auburn Montgomery coming in really playing with house money, because whereas they are down in the second half of the conference at 2-4, you come in here and you knock off the number 1 team in the conference, and all of a sudden you've built yourself a mountain that's not nearly as high to climb. And I can tell you, so many coaches talk about the most important thing is gelling together when you get to late January and the month of February before you get to conference tournament time. Bulldog ball as we return to action. I was saying a minute ago, you'd think we were under COVID restrictions with this crowd here, but Union is not. Long 3, and the iron was unkind for Boykin. AUM in the state capital in Alabama. One time they were known as the Senators, and taking it all the way home is Graham. He averages 12.4 a game, and he nails down 7 rebounds a game. And trying to take it inside on the drive and drawing the foul is Bo Gidgel, who's into the contest. That foul is charged to Graham, and that's going to be his second. Checking in for Auburn Montgomery, Devin Tucker. He is from Birmingham, a hometown guy. He's a junior. Union appears to have the height advantage at most of the key positions here. Well, you got a guy like Boykin who can call the shots on the floor. He can deal with somebody being a couple inches higher. Turnaround jumper, forcing it home, is Parks, who has 8 of Union's 10 points. Now, that's a great start for Ty, but he's going to have help before this afternoon is over with. They cannot rely just on his scoring ability. Excellent drive, but just not quite there on the geometry. And underneath, too far underneath, was Smith. And trying to take it all the way and not being able to get it home. That was a good opportunity for Boykin, but he was just a little bit off balance. Now going for the 3, and right through the heart it goes for Youngblood. Sam Youngblood from McCalla, Alabama. Bulldogs trailing by 3. Only shooting 30% from the floor. Going inside, J.C. Clossy with the turnaround and the foul. So one of the 2 JCs for the Bulldogs will try to make it the hard way 3-point play. Youngblood is charged with the foul. It's good to be back with you after a month off of having no home games here at Fred DeLay, but the Bulldogs and Lady Bulldogs were very successful while we were away. But as I mentioned, it is not going to be an easy thing for the Lady Bulldogs when they return to action on the road Thursday night, because they will have been off 2 full weeks. They were hoping to get this game action in, and they're going to be going down to meet Gary Van Atta and the always tough Montevallo team. AUM slows the tempo. Let's see how Michael Chaney plays it. They've been trying to get it inside the paint a lot in this contest. And all the way through, a brilliant drive by Bozeman. He's their second leading scorer, averaging 14 a game, also nailing down 8 rebounds. Wide open underneath. No question about it, Bo Gidgel with a give and go. He didn't try to kill it off the glass. He just went in Lay it softly off that square, and that's how it's hard to teach these guys who learn to play with that real aggressive style, but that's the best way to do it. Put it up softly. Youngblood looking for a cutter, and nobody was open underneath. And the fall-away jumper is short. Hart tried one from about 9 feet. Now you can see Niven is a lot more enthused about what his defense is doing. The foul is charged to Tucker, his first. And we have timeout. And we're all tied up as we were in the last time, except it's 15 all. Now, coaches use a lot of analogies, and sometimes we in the media refer to that as coach speak. But Dave Niven told me earlier, now listen to this, he uses several financial analogies with his players to encourage them to develop better performances on the court.
I talk with my players often about money in the bank, and some players have a very large balance. They have made a ton of deposits over the course of their career, and so they can have a stretch where they're not making shots and they're making withdrawals, and they still have a large balance, and we're going to stick with them. Other players, that balance is a lot smaller, and when you make some withdrawals, they get close to zero, and the leash may not be as long. Every player has the opportunity, though, to make deposits every day. I think deposits in games count a lot more than deposits in practice, but sometimes that's all you get is practice. Whether it's the preseason and you haven't started games, or whether your role is limited, sometimes the only deposits you're going to get a chance to make are in practice, and those matter. They count.
These two teams very well matched in the early going. Tied at 15. And as I mentioned, this is not going to be one where you're going to have a lot of atmosphere here in the place, because this being January term and with campus being closed the last 2 days for the icy weather, it's very, very hard to get a lot of these students out in the afternoon. Trying to go all the way in and cram it home and drawing the foul. And the best thing was that he kept his balance and went right. And Gidgel will go to the line for two. Our next telecast is going to be on Thursday night, January 20th. And that is when our good friends come to town from West Florida. And it'll be a 5:15 telecast time. The tip-off at 5:30 for the women and 7:30 approximately for the men. Hope you'll be with us here on UU Athletics, as well as ePlus TV6 and ePlusTV6.com. A presentation of Worthy Road Studios. Union retakes the lead off of the two free throws from Gidgel. And Union going to a little bit of a half-court trap. Did not really fool the Warhawks that much. And again, slowing the tempo down. This is not really a strong three-point shooting team. They average 36% for the season, but it's not their bread and butter. Boy, they had a thriller victory over Christian Brothers, and that was excellent defense on the part of the Bulldogs, and going to sleep a bit on offense. 30-second clock violation, so Union will play it on the side. Nobody was getting open, and your player with the ball has got to be aware of that shot clock right above the goal. If you don't get that thing off, you are going to lose it. And the big thing is Union trying to look on this as an opportunity to capitalize off the turnover. And that was kicked off the foot. So it is not going to go as a turnover. Clossy will toss it in with 20 remaining on the shot clock. Boy, this place has suddenly become silent. Double teaming and still falling away and not connecting is Vick. And give it back. Littlepage, who's in the game, went off of his fingertips. So Dave Niven has already played 9 players in this game. And left-hand layup is not there. And Union coming down with the board. Bulldogs trying to assert dominance on the boards, but they are at 8-8. It's pretty even right now. Inside, Little Page he tried to float it home and didn't get his angle right. He had a perfect ticket in for the layup. And going down, it looked like a Harlem Globetrotters move. And are they going to charge Vic with a foul? Yes, they are. Hunter just really fell for it right there as his opponent just went down to his knees and started going into that low Harlem Globetrotters type dribble. Hart will toss it in. AUM is a beautiful campus in the state capital of Montgomery. In fact, my wife is a former professor there in the math department. Fallaway is there. This guy has great balance, Isaiah Hart, and they've got balanced scoring. 5 different players have contributed and trying to get through everybody, and the left-hand layup goes through for Gidgel. He found an opening and just slid all the way through it. And on the backside, they're going to call a foul. And going to the line, and this is going to be their first trip to the line, and we've already played 11-plus minutes in the contest. This is Hart. He's a 77% free throw shooter, and just as I say that, he missed one in the front end of a 1-and-1. Trying to take it all the way down. Nice block on the inside. Beautiful block, and missing the layup, but the tip is there for Tucker. It was Williams with the block at the opposite end, and Tucker takes it all the way home, and AUM has taken the lead. Union slows the tempo down. Going to be hearing a lot more from David Niven when we get into our timeouts about some special nuances of the game. That was a double spin move, and are they going to call traveling? Yes, they are. That was a bit of indecision on the part of Gidgel. He was trying to find someone open and just couldn't dish off and changed his pivot foot one too many times. The two teams are almost dead even in scoring. Union is averaging 78 a game, and the back fall-away jumper is there again for Hart. Union averaging 78 a game, AUM 75 a game, but Union has been the much better defensive team. Fall-away jumper, and the answer shot is there for Boykin, his first basket of the game. Bulldogs have held their opponents to 66 points a game, and AUM has given up 77 per game. And this is where Dave Niven really feels like his team has the advantage, and it's just things like that, even though they didn't get control of the ball, but they do there. It's a 2-on-2 situation. They'll back out of trying a transition. Quick passing, Gidgel with about a 28-footer, yes! And Union retakes the lead. And Bo Gidgel, coming in off the bench, has picked up 9 of Union's 24 points. He and Parks together have 17. And again, it is Hart slowing the tempo. He's from Morrow, Georgia. He went to Loyola, Maryland, and transferred. Fall-away is there. He has a great fall-away jumper. That is such a hard shot to defend unless you got somebody over you that's about 5 inches taller. So we've got a seesaw lead in the game, and Gidgel tried to fire up that three, and it went just a little bit too far right. He had a look at the basket, but just didn't get it there. Hart with the fake and the jumper. I am impressed with Hart. 12 points on this afternoon's game. I can see why he is their leading scorer. He just does so many things well with and without the basketball. And on the inside, Vic with a stutter step could not get it up high enough. That was actually Djordjevic, Dusan Djordjevic, and it just hung up on the lip. Union has had 5 layups in this game that have failed. Hart's going to try to take it inside himself and draws the foul. He sensed those 2 defenders collapsing in on him, and he went right in for the basket. The foul is charged to Gidgel. That is his first, and we have another media timeout. It is AUM 27 and Union 24. Now, despite intense team practices, players have to work hard on their own to develop their skills. Now, Dave Niven told us how the balance is between practice time and working on your own.
How much time are you getting in the gym? You deserve to make these shots. We do not dedicate enough time in our practice for shooting for you to be a great shooter. That has to be done outside of practice on your own. We typically spend probably in total 10 minutes a day on individuals shooting the basketball. If we had 3-hour practices every day, we could get enough shots up that you wouldn't have to come back on your own. But I would much rather give our players the freedom to make their own schedule, to get in the gym and do those things on their own and spend the bulk of our practice on team things.
One of the things Dave Niven told me yesterday is a big concern is that this team shoots very, very well in the paint. And, in fact, AUM is shooting 57% from the floor. But get this, the Warhawks have 20 points inside that red square. 20 points in the paint already. Union only 8. That is huge right now. Union's big spread is that he said they've had 12 points off the bench and AUM only 2. This Union team goes a little bit deeper than does AUM. But AUM has made the most of its lineup so far in the contest today. But this Hart, he is a tremendous field general. And going for a big bomb, and it goes off the back of the iron. And trying a big bomb himself is Boykin, and he did not get the carom to go in. So the team swap errant threes. One-on-one situation, and that curl hook was not there, and here we go. And knocked away from behind, and Hart's going to see if he can capitalize off of it. That follow-away is there. He is almost unstoppable. Hart with 14 points. He is 7 of 9 from the floor. Bulldogs have got to do something with him. And there's an answer shot. J.C. Clossy. And both of his have come from behind the arc. So Union quickly closes that margin back down to 2. But this comes as no surprise. Dave Niven said that we are going to face trouble if we have to defend the paint. And that is where so many of AUM's points have come this afternoon. Oh, almost losing it was Hawkins. And Simmons, who has a good three-point shot, but he was way off balance. He slid. AUM crisp passing in this game so far. That was a double spin move, and look at Hart. He just stays in control but couldn't get it. And give it to Union. Hart was all over it, attempting to hold on, could not make it work. And let me tell you, folks, we have played 16 minutes of this first quarter in only 25 clock minutes. That's almost unheard of. We've had very, very few free throws. Only 6 free throws have been shot in the game. There have been 13 turnovers, but that hasn't slowed the game up at all. The key thing for Auburn Montgomery is to stay in. There's a steal. Here you go. It is Bozeman, and nice job blocking it, but the follow does not go. On the third opportunity, it is Williams connecting with his first basket. Union has got to stop those second and third opportunities at the basket. And Hart just is all over it. Was called for traveling. Now, most of the time now, they'll let you get away if you go to your knees, but apparently they say that he rolled on top of it without getting it in control. And as Cowboy Curling decides to clean up the floor, we will take this break with Union still trailing 31-27. Today's game does come after a 9-day layoff for the Bulldogs, and after Christmas, they only had 3 days to get ready for a road game with West Georgia. But Coach Niven says a hiatus is not necessarily good.
I'm not sure. I don't know that there was a lot of good for us this week. Coming back with 3 days to practice before West Georgia, coming with a week off. The only benefit to that was that West Georgia was in the same boat. That's a quick turnaround. Typically when we come back from Christmas break, we will spend the first 2 days really conditioning, breaking their bodies down. But then you have enough time, typically another 5 days before you play, and they'll be fresh. They'll have their legs back by the next time you play. That was not a possibility with 3 days. We just had to go like a normal week to practice. So I'm not sure we were conditioned the way we would have liked to have been.
Look at Mark Campbell. I'm not sure what he's going to die when he finds out that was on TV this afternoon. I'm going to have to ask him what that was all about. That was some kind of signal to somebody else across the arena. But Mark Campbell having a day off today that was unplanned because, in case you joined us late, the women's game was canceled or at least postponed. The women's game was postponed because of AUM not being able to field enough players because of COVID protocols. Bulldogs trying to work the inside. They have really been kept out of the paint themselves a lot during the course of the day. The fall away by Clossy was not there, and Ivic with the rebound. And this slower tempo seems to have really worked well. Fall away three is not there. Youngblood thought he had it, and he did have the range, and the foul is called from behind. And we want to say a big shout out to Union Lady Bulldog Keely Robinson. It is her birthday today, and it would have been nice to have seen her play. And that was what Mark's signal was, something to Keely Robinson about this being her birthday. But I think what we need to do is when we get the finished product of this game, we need to get that clip and do it in slow motion and just to show Mark Campbell's exceeding talent on this. Got them both. Gidgell's a good free throw shooter, and he is the leading scorer for the Bulldogs in the game with 11. And it's still been hanging between 2 and 5 points. Union has not had the opportunity to regain the lead. Bulldogs with 9 turnovers in the game. Good job on defense by Gidgell, but the fall away, Hart couldn't make it fall that time. Boykin, an excellent rebound. Here you go, and could not again. That is the 7th layup the Bulldogs have missed. Parks going to his right, but he couldn't get it high enough off the glass as we approach 2 minutes remaining in this first half of play. As I say, this has been played almost like a radar blip. Woo, it has gone by fast. That was almost a triple spin move, and let's see where it's going to go to Union. It looked as though Youngblood was going to be able to make that work, but it fell apart. And Union will play it with yet another opportunity to tie the game. Tell you, Boykin is one of these guys that he just makes everybody better around him. And Tyree may have to ramp up the scoring in the second half. Goes to the inside, and they are clogging it up in there, and the steal. Here goes Crowley, who's in the game, the jumper. Got it. Right into the game is Gilbert Crowley from Atlanta, Georgia, and he nailed it. And Union had 2 opportunities to tie this game, and they have frittered both of them away. Simmons is back in. And a nice fall away to his right. He was actually falling away from the basket, but at the height of his jump, released it against the glass. As we get down to the 1-minute mark. Simmons is going to go back up and play under the basket. He tried to knock off Hart just a bit. And Hart, great fake, but Gidgel was right there and timed the block. And a beautiful block on the other side, but the foul. And it looks as though the foul is going to be on Graham. Or is it Ivic? Yep, it's going to be on Ivic. Strahinja Ivic, who is from Belgrade, Serbia. He's a junior. That's his first. Boykin at the line for 2. They have to have a big day scoring from him. In the first half, it hasn't happened that much, but he is usually a money-in-the-bank guy from the free throw line. And this is the 3rd opportunity in the last 3 minutes. Union has had to tie it. Let's see if he can manage it. And he does. 33 all. Here's one thing. Union has not had one offensive rebound in this game. Not one. And I know Dave Niven wants to see them crashing the glass a lot more. Again, they're going to keep it as long as they can. They have to shoot by the time 8 seconds are left on the game clock. Almost a traveling violation, and they throw it away, and they're going to scramble for it. Who has it? Timeout is called. Union saved it with 6.5 seconds left. Well, we'll have one final opportunity to make this work. I'm going to keep it right here. What he was trying to do is somebody to get control, and because there were no teammates around, is just get it, get control, and call a timeout. And that's exactly what he did. So Union's going to have one opportunity to get the lead here with 6.5 seconds remaining. It's been a tremendous defensive effort between these two teams so far in this first half. But as Dave Niven said, he wants to see his shooting percentages improve, and that has not happened today. 38.5% for Union. And so far on the season, the Bulldogs have been a shade better than that. The Bulldogs are averaging 45% from the floor. So part of that is an off day that has been created by Auburn Montgomery's defense, but also this team has missed 7 layups. A couple of times they were a little too cute trying to take it to the inside, but they just simply have been off on their angle trying to put a basket in that close in. Now, Union is going to have to be very, very quick, and they're bringing up 2 defenders to try to see if they can mess things up for the Bulldogs. He's going to have to hurry. Here goes Gidgel. He's going to get it inside, and the corner. It is Hawkins. Nope, it's short. Trying a desperation tip was Simmons, and it didn't go, and so it is all tied at 33. It seems almost every time we take a break that we are tied. Let me run down your scoring for the 2 teams this afternoon. Isaiah Hart has just been a whirlwind with particularly his fall-away jump shots. 14 points to lead everybody in this game. Nobody else for AUM has more than 4, but a key point is that 7 other Warhawks have scored. For Union, it's been Bo Gidgel. He's had 3 3-pointers, and he has got 11 points in the game. Ty Parks with 8, and Tyree Boykin and J.C. Clossy with 6 each. And so it is one of those tilts that, as you see here, and if you've been watching, defense has been everything, but the Bulldogs have got to be more crisp and more aggressive when they go in for layups, because that has been, when you miss 7 layups out of 27 shots, something's not right. So we'll see what kind of adjustments they make in the second half. Well, tonight on ePlus TV6 and ePlusTV6.com, and for those of you who have Roku, you can see us on the Free to View app. We're going to have a very special evening of Steve Beverly's TV Classics. In fact, it is going to be 4 hours. One additional hour tonight. We're on from 7 to 11 Central Time with a tribute to Betty White. We remember Betty for everything that she gave us in entertainment. More than 80 years. She was doing experimental television when she was 18 years old back in the 1940s. Well, today I want to give you a bit of a preview of what you're going to see tonight on Steve Beverly's TV Classics as we remember Betty White. Well, it's a delight to have a legend, Betty White, with us right here. I know how you're going to be about this. We have just completed the Game Show Congress in Los Angeles, in which we honored Betty White's husband, Alan Ludden, that gave us so many memories with Password and GE College Bowl. And you've got the award right here, the Bill Cullen Career Achievement Award for Alan.
And Bill was a great and dear friend of Alan, Bill and of mine. So it makes it a double lovely one with Bill's name on it, too.
Betty, so many memories were shared today about Alan's life and career and about your marriage. Reflect on us what it means today that people have remembered him.
Well, I'll tell you, it would thrill him to pieces if he could have, and I'm sure he was sitting in there today, but he would be so thrilled because he never took, I think what I first fell in love with was Alan's enthusiasm. He was enthusiastic and interested in everything, and so honored when anybody would honor him or do something like that. He would have just had a spell today. It was so lovely. And the Game Show Congress is a marvelous organization. I have been playing games since I was born. My mother and dad and I would make up games on driving vacations and stuff like that. So when I started working, anybody would ask me, to do a game show, I'd love it just for the fun of it. And one day my dad said, "You mean you're getting paid for something we've done all our lives for nothing?"
What was it like when you knew that the sparks, you'd hit it off with you and Alan, and you knew it was right? What really attracted you to him?
I wasted a whole year. I'm ashamed of it because I kept saying, "No, I will not move to New York. No, I will not marry you." I had been married and it hadn't worked, and I felt that I had failed, and I didn't want any part of it. He lived in New York, I lived in California, and we would see each other when one or the other would visit the other coast. But he called me every night at 11, and finally, after about a year, Easter came around, and he sent me this beautiful little stuffed white rabbit, beautiful, with little ruby and diamond and sapphire earrings clipped to its ears. And the note just said, "Please say yes." So that night, when he called, I didn't say hello, I said yes. And years later, anytime anybody'd ask him about it, he'd say, "It wasn't those beautiful earrings, it was that damn stuffed bunny that she fell for."
I got to ask you a last thing before we let you go. Your career has just been a golden one in so many ways, and you are going to receive the Screen Actors Guild Life Achievement Award. What does that mean to you?
Oh, I can't be coy about it. I am so blown away, so thrilled. It's just because it's your peers, and I can't believe it. I still think they're going to call and say, "Oh, we got the wrong name. We called you by mistake." But it's in January, and I'm really, really thrilled, deeply thrilled.
Well, it's been an honor to have you here with us again today and to honor a man that meant so much to so many of us because he spent so much time as you did, and you still do, in our homes. And we just say thank you and God bless you.
Well, thank you. And I've been in this silly business for 61 years, and people are still trying to figure out how to get rid of me, and they haven't been able to do it yet. Will you kiss that bulldog's nose for me when you get home?
I'll do it. And I'll guarantee you one thing, they won't get rid of you. It's not going to happen. Betty White with us here on Jackson 24/7. And
I had another great thrill, and that was in 2007, 2 years earlier than the interview you just saw. And that was at another Game Show Congress convention in which we were honoring Wink Martindale, Jackson's own, and Bob Stewart, who is the man who created To Tell the Truth, Password, the Pyramid, you just name it. He had a tremendous creative mind. And he also created The Price is Right. Well, Betty had done so many of Bob's shows over the years, and she had just finished giving a testimonial to Bob Stewart. And I was the MC of the event that day, and I had to tell Betty, now you can't leave the podium right now. There was a reason for it. We had a big surprise that we were trying to pull. And watch what her expression is when we tell her what that surprise is.
Betty, Rich and I are going to keep you up here for just a moment. We're going to do this relatively quickly, but I want you to come here to the microphone. I want you to assist me with something. What? All right. During the video for Bob Stewart, you saw a lady who is also one of our all-time legends, Miss Arlene Francis. And I think all of you remember her very, very well in this audience. This would have been Arlene's 100th birthday this year.
Really?
It would. Now, we saw her on a Password episode. Do you remember who her opponent was that night?
Oh, that night, gee, I'd have to see it again.
Well, I'm about to show it to you. Kevin, if you would roll that for us, let's let Betty see who... Betty White.
This is the popular television star and leading lady of the Ludden household, lovely Betty White.
Thank you. And this is my partner, the creator of one of your favorite cartoon series, Lil Abner, Al Cap.
This is the charming star of Broadway and Hollywood, one of your television favorites, Arlene Francis.
Thank you. And this is my partner, the creator of the popular comic strip, Kerry Drake, Alfred Andriola. And if you'll put your funny papers down for just a minute, we're going to play Password.
Al, you'll start, though. As they look at the word, we'd like you to see it.
The password is gravel.
10 points, Al Cap. See if you can get Betty White to say that word.
Gertie.
Garter.
Gertie Garter. Oh. 9 points, Alfred. Driveway.
Gravel girding.
Gravel Gertie. No, Betty. Back here. Back up.
Are you a woman?
Yes.
Did she answer? Yes.
That was a yes. Somebody terribly sore about something. Are you related as husband and wife? Yes. Is the password marriage? Al Ludden, Betty White?
All right. You may...
Happy birthday, Arlene.
Betty, we wanted you to assist us here because her son, Peter Gable, could not be with us today. He is a college professor in San Francisco, and his university is having a foundation meeting today, so he couldn't be with us. But he said he was delighted that the Game Show Congress would acknowledge his mother's 100th birthday, and also the fact that he knew you would be here, because he wanted us to, on this day of celebration and surprises, add his compliments and his love, and he knew his mother would send the same thing when the Game Show Congress presents the first Arlene Francis Panelist Legend Award to Betty White.
As Wink Martindale would say, you got me. Thank you, and happy birthday, beloved Arlene. Thank you.
Betty White, everybody. We had to spring that on her as a surprise because she never would have showed up if we'd have told her ahead of time that it was going to happen. Well, let's get back to Bob Stewart's time.
Has ever had more fun in this world doing what they do for a living than I have in television. Thank you so very, very much.
Now, I have to tell you, it doesn't get much better than that to be able to say that in your lifetime you had a couple of times that you could be in Betty White's presence. Actually, I had about a half dozen times, but to be able to surprise her with that award and to sit down and go one-on-one with Betty it's just as good as it gets. Tonight at 7 o'clock, join us on E-Plus TV6 and eplustv6.com for Steve Beverly's TV Classics Remembers Betty White. And I think you're going to find it's a terrific compilation of some of the great things that she's done. Right now, let's go to our halftime statistics brought to you by Worthy Road Studios for the finest in, talk about production for television, in sports, in events, all throughout West Tennessee. It is Worthy Road Studios. Here are our totals. Field goals. Here's the big problem. The Bulldogs 37%, and 7 of those misses have been layups. They got just a little bit too, shall we say, they got too cute with them. AUM 44% from the floor. 3-point field goals. Now, Union's done pretty well with that, 4 out of 10. And AUM, that's not their strong suit, although that's well below their season's average on that. 1 out of 5 for 20%. AUM has only been to the free throw line one time. Union has connected on all 9 of its free throws, and that's a huge factor why this game is tied. But look at this. AUM out-rebounding Union, a team that actually has a height advantage on the Warhawks, 21-17. Union has coughed it up more times, 10-8. They have played an interesting zone defense, and at times they've gone to a box-and-one type of defense to prevent Union from getting inside the paint. Union still, despite that, has picked up 10 points off of turnovers from the Warhawks, and AUM 8 off of Union. But a big category not on our list is points in the paint. AUM 22 to Union's 10. That's got to change in the second half. So those are your halftime statistics. We're less than a minute away here from starting this second half. Union 12-2 overall, and there you see some of our fans. There's Shanique Lucas with the big white toboggan on. And that's her dad that she's turning around to take a look at there. That he has the ASB sweatshirt on, and he's headed back to Thailand after today's men's game. And I know this has been a great reunion for Shanique and her sister here with their dad. And as I mentioned to you, our next telecast is going to be on the 20th, unless the conference decides for that women's game that was canceled today, unless they decide to make that one up. Unless they decide to make that one up before the 20th. That's going to be our next one, and that is when West Florida comes to town to take on the Bulldogs and Lady Bulldogs. Valdosta State will be here 2 weeks from today on January 22nd. We'll have both of those doubleheaders for you. At least we hope they're doubleheaders, unless there's another COVID outbreak on the part of one of those teams. We understand that AUM's women have canceled their next game on their schedule, trying to get their people well as best as that they possibly can. Warhawks get the opening tip, and this is Isaiah Hart, because he's the guy who is the stir that straws their drink. 14 of the 33 points for AUM have come from Hart. And right through the heart with a three to open up is Graham. So James makes it a 3-point lead. And again, the key thing is the emotional thing. And they go inside to Gidgel, and he's fouled. And you can see the reaction on the part of Graham. He thought there's no way. That's his third foul. So Union will play it underneath. But for Graham, he is the first one who is in serious foul trouble in this contest. Now, Simmons will pull up and try a three, but he didn't do it that time. And left-hand layup, not there. The tip goes. Nice follow-through on the part of Parks. This is one of those that if you have a team like this that comes in and says we have nothing to lose, and you keep letting them hang around with a lead. Union has not led in this game since probably midway through the first half. And it makes it difficult emotionally. Look at how he turned around, and Smith was absolutely robbed. He had position. He turned that spin move and was absolutely, it was a crime that one didn't go through. Gidgel way back outside again. There they go. Gidgel should not have taken it to the floor, but it doesn't matter. Graham had to back off of him or potentially take a fourth foul, and so that's one thing. They got to exploit that on the inside with Graham playing with 3 fouls. And Union finally regains the lead at 37-36. Smartest thing, though, that AUM has done is to keep this tempo slower. They are double-teaming Hart. He had nowhere to go. Fall away three, not there. The fall back is Smith. He has 6. And that's, again, what we talk about, offensive rebounds. That is the 5th for the Warhawks in this game. And, again, it leads to second-chance opportunities at the basket. That was a dangerous pass. From outside, Simmons goes left. McHale just has not been able to get it to go today from outside. He's had a few good looks, but just not getting them to drop. Big three. Yes, sir. Graham once again. That's 2 in a row, and suddenly it is a 4-point lead. A 2-possession lead now for the Warhawks again. Union was shooting 44% from the three and traveling. That's exactly right. He was trying to work one-on-one to exploit Graham, and he took a step before he went in for that, what he hoped would be a layup or a foul. So Union now with turnover number 11 in the contest. Mistakes like that are really costing the Bulldogs. They pull up and get a three here in a 3-possession lead, and he's going for it. Hart thought about it. Then you're giving Union a lot of challenge to come back. Fall away jumper is there. Graham is all over the place. He has 12, and 8 of them have been here in the first 3.5 minutes of this second half. Bank shot goes through. That's what they're going to try to do, is exploit the foul situation on Graham, and Gidgel powers it home to give him 15. But again, no hurry on the part of AUM. They're going to look for somebody to get open in the paint. And if Union gets too many people on defense there, they'll try to get somebody on the outside for a three. Fall away. Well, Graham's been hot, but he didn't pull that one down. This is a big possession for Union. The jumper is not there, and Simmons is going to be, I think, charged over the back. Boykin had a good look at it, and then Simmons charged with an over-the-back foul. And we got timeout. So Union continues to trail 43-39. Dave Niven was up front with me before today's game. He said that practices just weren't very good this week for the Bulldogs. He gave us a thumbnail of why that sometimes happens.
And you come into it where you've got 8 days before your next game, and because we had a week, typically with 8 days of off time, I would have given a lot more break time. I didn't feel like we necessarily needed a break at this point. We needed to practice, but it's tough to have practice back to back like that this time of year with no game looming right around the corner. And so I don't think we had a great week of practice. It's been our worst week of the season for leading into this game. Now, hopefully we have a really good practice today, and hopefully, you know, I've coached long enough to see us play really, really well after really, really bad practices, and I've seen us play really, really bad after really, really good practices. So there is no 100% correlation between any of it, but yeah, it's not been a good week. It's probably my fault as coach. If I could go back and start the week over again, I probably would have scheduled things a little bit differently.
Union has not been able to put together one of those 4, 6, or 8-point runs in this contest that have carried them through the 12 victories and 14 outings this year. And part of that is because this guy and his teammates have been doing everything possible to keep the tempo slow and not allow Union to get transition baskets. And they've done a great job of that. Nice fake, and Graham goes, and what a block by Gidgel. 10 on the shot clock. And you could tell Graham was going to try to reach high and bounce it off the glass, and Gidgel was over there to just destroy it. And let's see how Coach Crenny plays it. Nice block again. Now, can Union get control? They're going to have to. Up, they threw it away. Dave Niven give him encouragement for going after that, but unfortunately, it was one of those where that could have been a big turnaround in the score as Cowboy Curling goes through to clean up the floor where they all slid. He's had a trademark outfit now with that cowboy hat. And we got the Winter Olympics coming on real soon now. And so I don't think he's going to qualify for the curling team, but he has, at least made offers about it. I think he's sending an audition tape of one of these games so we could see how he does that. Boy, Graham has been everything in this half. Almost lost control. 9 on the shot clock. It'll still be Warhawk ball. Coach Chaney has done an excellent job, a great game plan for this one tonight. That one way too short. But underneath and getting position, knocking it through is Roderick Smith. Union could not control him, and it's back to the 6-point lead. Long three. Clossy with the three. JC now with 9. So Union slices the deficit in half. But notice how they went for the big bomb, and they got it. And he was defended very well, but Youngblood just sliced it home, and he was only 1 out of 7 before he connected with that one. Now, on the season, Youngblood averages 12 points a game, but he's 44% on three-pointers. Outside to Gidgel. The answer shot is not there, but the tip is for Littlepage. In perfect position, so Jeremiah with his first basket. Back to a 4-point game. We've hit the 5 o'clock hour for those of you watching us live, and only 13:40 remain. Littlepage trying to grab a steal. And let's see how Hart does it on the inbounds play. Trying to get Graham open, but Gidgel's over there to pick him up very, very quickly. And Hart open. Yep. Absolutely left wide open. And that is the largest lead yet for Auburn Montgomery at 51-44. And this is just one of those that Union just seemingly has not been able to get in sync, but it is Parks and the foul. And you can see Gidgel trying to encourage his teammates. This is a big, big three-point play because the Bulldogs were beginning to see that deficit grow. Parks has not been to the free throw line today. Connects. Big three-point play to cut it back to 4. And if you're a Union fan, you want to see a stop right here. And you don't, because it is the red-hot Graham. He has been everywhere. 6 of 10 now in the game. And back to the 7-point lead. Inside, off the top of the lip. Parks could not get it to go. Youngblood wants to let fly. Fall away is there. And they are just tearing this place apart, 55-47. Gidgel can't get it to fall, and Littlepage couldn't follow. This has been an outstanding defensive effort on the part. And Dave Niven's going to take time out. 12:18 remaining. Union now down by 9. Well, Dave Niven, you know, you think about as a casual fan, you may marvel at how a lot of these players can go 30, 32, 35 minutes a game. He told us the role that conditioning plays in the outcome of games.
It affects both sides of the ball. Your ability to defend. If you watch us against West Georgia, first half, we held them to 31%. Second half, they shot 50%. And I think it was all based on we ran out of gas. We were a little shorthanded from what we typically have as far as numbers in that game. And we expect to have a full roster tomorrow. But I thought it played a big role on the defensive side of things. We were trying to chase those guys around screens, and the gaps between us and them got bigger and bigger throughout the half.
While you saw the calm, demure Dave Niven there, he was giving a piece of his mind, and still is, to his players. They're playing YMCA in the building, and you could hear Dave over that. Obviously very displeased at what he is seeing with his team's first home game in January, and frankly, first game period after the start of the year. And it just appears, you can't blame it all on that, but it just appears that the 9-day layoff without game action has really been a negative for this ball club. They have just not been able to get consistency or sync involved. They've missed 9 layups in this game. Gidgel's been trying to get that fourth foul on the inside, and Littlepage cannot get the reverse layup. And I can see Niven down here below me just shaking his head. There's still plenty of time for a Union comeback, but and that's going to be a foul on Littlepage. Bulldogs just have not shown that there's a move in them. They got one lead of 1 point here in this half, and then all of a sudden you got this 9-point margin, and we have a media timeout. So we're going to go back and hear some more from Dave Niven. And, in fact, he followed up with us more about how conditioning plays a huge role in a team's performance. Now, in this comment, he outlines a specific way that his players can be affected by stamina toward the end of a game.
On the offensive side of things, it typically shows up in shooting. You need legs to be a great shooter, and you need legs late in the game, particularly if you're shooting threes and not getting things right at the rim. I think that shows up as well. So conditioning is a huge part of it. You can mask a little bit of it when you're deep, and I think we've been able to do that this season, playing 10 guys. We've been able to give guys more rest than typical. The conditioning, really, the last 2 years has been tough because of how COVID has affected preseason, how it's affected practices, the amount of time that we've had. Both of our last preseasons, we've had a number of guys go into quarantine and COVID protocols, and that's affected the level of conditioning that we opened up the year with.
Well, you got a team that is in here tied for 8th place in the Gulf South Conference, 4 games behind the leader, which is Union. And they have really taken control of this game in the second half after it was tied at halftime at 33. And lead it by 9 and could jump ahead. And there is Hart wide open, and the iron was unkind. Now, this is the kind of thing Union needs to look on that as the equivalent of a turnover. Again, working the perimeter. And tried to curl it on the inside, and Gidgel there were too many guys in the paint, and they just clogged it up. No way Littlepage could grab that one. For Union, it is the 13th turnover of the game. And the foul is going to be charged to Littlepage. Tried to reach in just a bit too much. For Union, only the 3rd team foul of the half. Littlepage will check out, and coming back in, Mikhail Simmons. They haven't been able to get any production from Hunter Vick today. And also, Littlepage only with 2 points, Simmons only with 2. The post players, as traveling is called, post players have just not been able to contribute in this one today. And part of that has been strong defense on the part of AUM. Part of it also is missing a number of easy layups. There's plenty of time left. You're talking about 11 minutes, just about. Bank shot goes through. And they got to have Boykin to do more of that. They just have to have some presence from him on more than assists. He's got to be able to dish it inside and go. And nice block on the part of Parks. Trying to take it all the way down, way too high, but it falls through anyway for Boykin. That's what I'm talking about. 2 straight baskets on his part. They've got to get him more involved in the scoring in the last 2 possessions. That has happened. As we approach the halfway mark of this final 20 minutes, as Union trying to somehow come back and continue to remain undefeated in the Gulf South Conference. On the inside, it is Smith trying to fall away and didn't get it to go through. He went right to the borderline of a traveling violation. Underneath, and the basket is there. The heave-ho goes inside to Parks, and Union on a 6-0 run to cut it down to a 3-point margin. We're under 10 minutes. That's the kind of flurry that Union has not had all afternoon. And it would be big if they had another stop right here. On the inside, wide open. Blocked, but the foul. Gidgel charged with the foul. To be candid with you, Gidgel was out of position. That's why he was so wide open, and so Graham's going to the line for 2. So far, this is Graham's first attempt at the free throw line today. Take that back. It looks like it's Smith instead of Graham. I couldn't see how many ones were on the back of his jersey. In and out, iron unkind. Smith with 8 on the day. He's also had 4 rebounds and 2 steals. Missed them both. Again, that's the equal to a turnover if you're Union. You see Boykin trying to direct his offense. And the jumper, Simmons. Yes! Union has cut it to 1. An 8-0 run for the Bulldogs. 9 minutes remaining. But you got to be able to get the lead and hold on to it. Otherwise, you're expending so much emotional energy. And it's stolen. Here you go with Gidgel. And he had it knocked from behind. Gidgel did not see what was happening from behind. And let's see what the foul is called. It's on Gidgel, and that is his 3rd. He just did not anticipate those footsteps coming behind him, and it was knocked away, and by the time he recovered and tried to steal it back away, he committed a foul. That's how this defensive anticipation has been so strong on the part of AUM this afternoon. Union could have taken the lead, and now they have a chance to extend it back out to 4 points. That may not seem like much, but again, it means you got to have 2 possessions without giving up anything. And traveling is called, changing his pivot foot. And so Graham commits the 11th turnover for AUM. Union has given it up 14 times. But AUM has picked up 16 points off of Union turnovers. Huge factor in this game. Bulldogs looking for only their 2nd lead of the half. No, that was tipped. That was one in which Boykin thought he had a good look at it, and it was knocked away as he released it. So Union fritters another opportunity away. Going back now to their bread and butter of a slower tempo. Big 3. Yep. Graham. What a second half he has had. 18 points now in the game, and he is 4 for 4 in 3-pointers. Answer shot is short. Parks could not control it. And Union trying so hard to get that answer shot and going all the way down and laying it through. Bozeman, that's only his 4th point of the game. Gidgel is fouled. He had 3 defenders crashing in on him. And that one is going to be charged to Isaiah Hart. And we have timeout. Well, going into today's game, Dave Niven said not to be fooled by AUM's 5-9 record. He said the Warhawks are capable of beating any team in the Gulf South Conference when their starters are all clicking.
They're playing their best basketball right now. They won in a triple overtime game last night at Christian Brothers, and it's I think going to be a challenge for us. They've played twice while we've been practicing, which I don't always love. Sometimes I think it's helpful to get some extra rest. I'm not sure this time of year was the time that we really wanted to buy. Coming off of Christmas break. So we've been practicing a lot, and I think we're tired of practicing. We're ready to play some games. But like I said, AUM is playing their best of the year right now.
Now we have one more media timeout at the 4-minute mark. The rest of the way, Union has 2 timeouts remaining. AUM has 3, just to keep that in the back of your mind in case that becomes a factor late in the game. But Union had the lead closed down to 56-55, went on an 8-0 run, And now the Warhawks back up 61-55. Union had an opportunity to take the lead. That's what we talk about so often, is that if you stay trailing, even if it's 2 and 4 points most of the way, unless you can get a lead and hold on to it for 3 or 4 minutes, it expends so much emotional energy on your team and then just forces you to have to go back up that ladder over and over and over again. It is Gidgel on the line for 2. Today he is 4 for 4 from the line. Union has not missed a free throw this afternoon and still hasn't. A chance to cut it to 4 for Gidgel. He has 16 in today's game. And he's 6 for 6, and the Bulldogs 12 for 12 from the stripe. And Union's going to try a little bit of half-court trap. Not a real intensive one. They don't want to get somebody wide open underneath in the paint. And again, AUM with that more deliberate pace, looking for the one open man that they can get either for a 3 or get inside. And there you go. They were looking for Graham, and he was picked up very, very quickly. Fall-away jumper is there. He has been unstoppable in this second half. Graham, 8 out of 12 from the field, 20 points to lead everybody in this game. High kick off to the right. Gidgel with 19. What Union needs, another couple of stops. But you see this clock just winding down. And again, wide open for a floater was Bozeman. And this team continues to extend it back out 4 to 6 points. And trying to get a give and go. They're going to scramble. And a jump ball, but the alternate possession will go to Union. And the Bulldogs, to be candid with you, very, very lucky right there. I got news for you. Unless this one ends up going to overtime, it is going to end significantly early, particularly for a men's game. Union has committed 5 team fouls, AUM only 3 in this second half. Gidgel's going to take it to the inside, gets the bank. Gidgel with 21, but he's got to have some help. He cannot carry the entire team on his back considering the way this game has evolved. And the post players have not delivered a lot this afternoon. Trying to go to the inside, double teamed, scrambling. And the foul is on Simmons. Smith just rocketed his way between the defenders. For Simmons, it's his second foul. That's the 16th foul. He's got to hurry to get it in. Here you go, Graham, stop and pop. And you could see the reaction on the part of Gidgel. You know, I'm all over him, and I still can't stop him. 22 points for Graham. Simmons, yes. Finally connects from behind the arc. And Union has sliced it to 3 as we approach the 5-minute mark. Our old friend Darryl Maxwell, the coach, has often said first one to 70 wins. Oftentimes he's right. We'll see if there's anything to that today. And the foul is charged, and you can hear the locals that do not like it. The foul is on Simmons, and that is his 4th. He went to the deck. And that is going to put AUM in the bonus. And it is going to be Roderick Smith. He has been to the line twice and has missed both of them. In fact, AUM has missed all 3 from the line today. And everything gets so quiet. It's almost like you're in the woods at night. And you don't hear a creature. And he connects. What a time to hit AUM's first free throw of the game with 4:53 remaining. Got them both. Smith in double figures with 10. AUM leads by 5. And we've got another timeout. Talk to almost any coach about his next opponent, and he'll tell you how great they are and how his team may have the biggest challenge of the season against them. Well, Coach Niven says that AUM's recent performance can give any team a challenge.
They've got some guards that are really good, really quick, athletic players that can get the basket, they can shoot it, make shots. And then they've got post players that are difficult to cover one-on-one in the post. And so we'll be challenged with being able to defend them, I think. That's going to be the key for us is our defense on Saturday. And it's one of those things where our ability to really control the paint and not allow their bigs to just score. We would love to play in a setting where we didn't have to double the post. But we've got to be able to win those one-on-one matchups down there. And so that's going to be a big part of if we're successful or not.
AUM took that timeout. And with the exception of that short flurry after Union went on an 8-0 run to get a 1-point lead, AUM has led between mostly 4 and 7 points here in the second half. Union has just not been able to get over the hump except for that one time to get enough emotional energy and take the lead. Now the Bulldogs are going to have it here, and they could cut it potentially to 2. Union, though, only 6 of 16 in three-pointers in today's game. So that has not been a high percentage shot for them today. Vick. On the inside, it goes to Gidgel with 23. They're just working the high lob on the inside, but they badly need a stop. Hart. And it kicked off of that one kicked off of Smith's shoe. Vick was about to run into all kinds of trouble. Now he takes it to the inside. Should have taken it himself. Going for the 3. Yes! From the corner, Boykin with 13, and we are tied. Just like that, another 5-point flurry with under 4 minutes remaining. And now let's see if that conditioning factor that Dave Niven talked about makes a big difference down the stretch. Here's Smith working against Gidgel. The hook. Stopped on the iron, and here you go. And Simmons says, get back here and help me. Union with an opportunity for 7 unanswered points and to take the lead. And he was going for the 3, and Boykin had that one drop. And they were hoping, and look at wide open down the floor and down the stretch. He does not get it, but he's fouled, and it is an intentional foul. That has been regarded as an intentional foul. 3:17 remaining, so that is the equivalent of a technical foul. Bulldogs really escaped one down at the opposite end. And the foul is called on Youngblood. They say that the official is in his discretion to call what is determined as an intentional foul. If you've got someone who has absolute possession and is attempting to go in for an uncontested basket, you can't just call that a hard foul if in the official's judgment it was a deliberate attempt to impede progress. So that is going to be a 2-shot opportunity, and if I recall correctly, I believe Union will get possession. Union a chance to tie it or lead it. And this has been a dilly if you can look at this right now. Auburn Montgomery and Union both shooting 49% from the floor, but AUM an uncharacteristic 58% on three-pointers. Union with only 38%. And AUM, the slight edge in rebounding, 30-29. Here's a big factor, though. The Bulldogs perfect from the free throw line at 12 for 12. Another big characteristic is you look at points in the paint. Union has evened that up. At one point, they were 14 behind at 20-6. Inside the paint, it's now all evened up at 32. So 3:17 remain, and we'll see just exactly if the Bulldogs can get the kind of advantage that they've been looking for. And it will be Parks at the line. And they'll clear the free throw line because, as we say, an intentional foul is considered the equivalent of a technical. Got it. Parks today 2 for 2. First miss out of 14 opportunities at the line for Union. But the Dogs have tied it at 69, and they will get the ball underneath. You follow the technical foul rules on an intentional foul. And they are saying reset the shot clock. And they've got it back to 20 seconds. Big possession here because Union has been on a roll now. That was tipped away again. They have been not crisp at all on trying to lob the inside if a player's not right there in the paint. Bulldogs fritter away another opportunity to get the lead. And they'll continue with under 3 minutes to go to play this more deliberate pace. Down the lane he goes, and the fall away goes through Graham again. He's been undefendable. Back to the 2-point lead for AUM. He's open and overshot it. Gidgell's going to have to scramble, and he can't get it. Gidgell was open for a split second and just fired it too far left. That was a bad one if you're a Bulldog fan. Look at this Graham. He has just been everything in this second half. Had 4 points at halftime. Puts up a 25-footer that's not there. Flying up for the rebound was Parks. Bulldogs another chance with 2 minutes remaining to tie it. Vic wants it. Parks on the inside, had it knocked away. Union with 11 remaining on the shot clock. Again, excellent defense on the part of Graham. Let's see how Niven plays it. Simmons all the way down the lane, and the foul. He'll go to the line for 2. Simmons has made both of his today. And this is a critical point to hit. Simmons had a rare start in this game today. 7 points so far. He's had a rough day from the floor, 2 out of 6, 1 out of 4 from behind the arc. Got it. This one to tie with 1:45 remaining. Short. Again, at points where the Bulldogs could tie or lead, at critical marks throughout this second half, they've fallen short. And again, they're going to take all the time they can with this 1-point lead and look for the open player. You can see how far back behind the perimeter they're operating. Warhawks go inside to the bread and butter guy. Tipped away, but they retrieve it. And it's Hart going through everyone and is fouled. Hart just knew the defenders were about to crash down on him and put up a desperation shot. A chance to give AUM another 3-point lead. Hart has missed his only opportunity today. He was the man in the first half. 14 points in the first half. He's been held to 3 because Graham has gone crazy in this half, has doubled his season average of 12. Hart has matched his season average of 17. And I think they finally have the floor clear. Right through the Hart. You would expect it late in the game. Hart, a 77% free throw shooter. And Dave Niven's going to call timeout and try to ice him a bit and also plot some strategy. Well, the Bulldogs came into today undefeated in the Gulf South with an impressive 12-2 record. And Coach Niven told us some of the areas where he wants to see improvement during the second half of the season.
We have been a pretty good team of taking care of the basketball. Our goal is to be under 16% of possessions ending in a turnover. We've been really right at around 16% all year, so we'd like to be better than what we have been. But we've done an adequate job of taking care of the basketball, getting shots. We've typically taken more shots than our opponents have. We've typically taken more free throws than our opponents have. We've just got to become more efficient at both of those spots.
76 seconds remaining. AUM will be on the free throw line momentarily. It'll be Hart with 18 points in the game, attempting to give AUM a 3-point lead. And it's been constantly in this second half a struggle to get back up the mountain. Union has tied it twice. They've had a 1-point lead once, but has not been able to get one of those 2 or 3 possession leads that the Warhawks have done. Warhawks have led by as many as 8 in the second half. So Isaiah Hart back to the line. Talented young man from Morrow, Georgia. If you wonder where that is north of Atlanta. Let's see what Isaiah does with this one. Right down the Hart, by the Hart. Bulldogs have got to take care of the basketball here. Boykin's got to hurry and get it across. We're closing in on the 1-minute mark. They don't have to have a 3 here. Clossey's going to unload. No. That one hurt. Dave Niven with 1 timeout remaining. The foul was called on Simmons, and that is his 5th. So Niven is going to go this time with Hunter Vick, going with a little less height but stronger shooting ability. And Vick has not scored in today's game. But Union is going to have at least 1 stop and 2 possessions in which both of them result in scores. That's the 9th team foul, and so it's still a 1-and-1. And it is Roderick Smith at the line. He's 2 out of 4 on the day. And we'll watch it with you. No, it hung up right. Bulldogs still with life. Gidgel somehow recovered that one. Parks takes it on the inside, banks it too hard. And they give it to AUM. And there's some discussion of the officials there. Let's see. I think it's because the clock says 28 seconds. They want to get it back on 30. Union, again, had an opportunity to close it to within 1, and it was just banked too hard off the glass. That is 13 layups that have been missed by the Bulldogs today. That'll tell you everything when you're in a tight one. Bulldogs pressing, trying to rattle AUM, and the foul. 33 seconds remaining, and everything is going to be a double bonus now. Clossy commits his first, but who do they send to the line? And that's Graham. Graham has not been to the line today, but 10 of 15 from the floor and 4 out of 5 three-pointers, and particularly in the first 10 minutes of this second half, he was unbelievable. And connects again. Graham's also had 6 rebounds. He had 3 fouls early in this half, and they were not able to get that 4th foul on him, and they tried every way possible. Bulldogs cannot. A big 3. Nope. Parks is going to try to go back. Boykin, desperation, tried to tip it back, and it's not there, and that's going to probably do it. Vic commits the foul, and that's probably going to do it. If he gets even one of these, it would take 2 3-pointers for the Bulldogs to come back and tie it. And it's just been a second half this afternoon that the Bulldogs could not hit the key shots on the inside, and a tremendous job of defending the paint by this AUM team. And here's Graham. Got it. This one would definitely put it on ice. It would be a 3-possession game with just under 15 seconds remaining. Got it. AUM is going to take this one. Vic's going to have to let it go fast. Clossy. Nope. Too much desperation right now. Too many passes. Union just has not been able to do it from behind, and there's the foul with 4 seconds remaining. That one's charged to Hawkins. Well, no, actually, they charged that one to Youngblood, and so it is going to be at the line, Tyree Boykin. Tyree's had an off-shooting afternoon himself, 5 of 13. But with 4.4 seconds remaining, you know what the percentages are now. Bulldogs will be suffering their first loss in Gulf South Conference action. And everything develops depending on how West Alabama did today. And we haven't had a report on that game, but it would put Union into a we're going to keep it right here. It would keep Union into a tie for the conference lead at 6-1 as they prepare to head down to Montevallo, which is another one of the conference powerhouses, 5-2 as they go in. Now, Montevallo is only 7-8 overall coming into today's action, but 5-2, and they would be, if they win today, possibly only a half game back of Union, and if West Alabama has won. So it has been one of those tough afternoons, and you can see by the expression of the faces on the fans, they're not going to go home terribly happy with this one. And I think Dave Niven said that the practices didn't go well this week, and that having the 9-day layoff between games just did not work in Union's favor, and particularly after this AUM team had a triple overtime victory this past Thursday night down at Christian Brothers that really seemed to elevate them emotionally. They've got a talented team, and in barely 0.8 of a second, a foul is called. A little bit of snippiness, but I think they're about to get that all together. Don't want to have anything to upset the forces here as we get down in this final stretch. Now that's worth it. Youngblood will go to the line. He has not been there today. 8 points on the afternoon. He averages 12 a game, and it's been kind of a rough day for him. He's 3 of 9 from the floor, but he hasn't had to do it because Graham and Hart have been so. It sounds like a songwriting team, Graham and Hart. Picks it up. Union has a chance to maybe just fire one all the way down the floor. And they will. Short. And that's sort of the story of what it was today. Everything seemed to fall short. Union could only get one lead of 1 point in the second half. And there were 2 ties. But they just could not, as we say, there was too much emotional energy that was spent attempting to come from behind as they did in this AUM team led by as many as 8, and they come away with a 78-73 victory over the Union Bulldogs. Dave Niven and Coach Cheney having some friendly words, a lot of respect for each other in this conference, and they will meet again down on the floor in Montgomery at the end of this month on the 29th. Let me run down your scoring in today's game, and for AUM, and certainly he's going to be our choice for the Worthy Road Studios player of the game, and that is Graham. He was just a tremendous second-half player. He only had 4 points in the first half, 24 in the second half, 10 of 15 from the floor, 4 of 5 three-pointers, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and 7 rebounds. He just did everything today. And so Graham with 28 points, and you can't say enough about what he did. And so James gets our Star of the Game award. The young man, the 6'7" junior from Maywood, Illinois. And then 19 points for Isaiah Hart. He was Mr. First Half, 14 points in the first half. He had 5 in the second half, but he was doing a lot of things without the ball. Had 6 steals alone in this game. He was going after every possible loose ball that he could. And they were the only, Roderick Smith with those free throws toward the end. Roderick Smith had 10. They were the only 3 guys in double figures today, and that was enough. Union just could not get, with the exception of maybe 2 quick flurries, one of them for 8 unanswered points, another one for 5, but they couldn't get one of those that could get them a lead and a cushion. And a lot of that can be stemmed by the defense that Auburn Montgomery played today. For the Bulldogs, they had 3 guys in double figures. Bo Gidgel with 23 points on the day, and you can't fault him at all. He had 5 rebounds, 6 for 6 from the free throw line. For Ty Parks, 16, 6 of 12, and he was 9 rebounds on the day to lead the Bulldogs. He was the leading rebounder in the entire contest. And then Tyree Boykin, and he had 15. His went in pockets, so it didn't seem like he was mounting up as many. He could not hit from outside. Missed 4 3-pointers in the game. Was a perfect 5 for 5 from three-point land, 5 rebounds, and he had 3 assists in the game, but he couldn't come up with a lot of steals. In fact, we had only 5 steals in the game by this Bulldog team, and you had 5 guys that had 1 each, but none of it could really create momentum for the Bulldogs. On the day, Union shot 43%, and that's not where Dave Niven says they need to be right now. He wants them closer to 50%. And Auburn Montgomery, 49%, which is above their season's average. Auburn Montgomery, 54% in three-pointers. Didn't shoot that many, 7 out of 13, but they made them count when they hit. Union was 6 out of 19 for 31%. So that was a big factor, is that Union could not hit percentage-wise the kind of threes that they expected. It was a great day at the free throw line, 17 out of 19. Union hit the first 14 free throws that it took today. Rebounding, both teams with 35 rebounds, but a big key was that earlier in the game, second and third chance points came on offensive rebounds for Auburn Montgomery. So that pretty well tells the tale. Bulldogs now 12-3 on the season and going down to 6-1. they'll still be at least tied for the lead in the Gulf South Conference, but they will journey down to Montevallo on Thursday night to take on a very, very tough team down there that always gives them tremendous difficulty on their home floor. Lady Bulldogs, in case you did just join us or in case you did not hear it earlier, Lady Bulldogs, their game with Auburn Montgomery was canceled. I should say postponed, actually, because more than likely that game is going to be made up. We just don't know when at this point. That will be discussed by the conference at some point this week. It likely would happen on a Monday or a Tuesday night. And Union Lady Bulldogs were going to continue to attempt to stay undefeated in the Gulf South Conference, and they did because they didn't play. That's the easiest way to stay unbeaten, is just not to play. But they will be down in Montevallo to take on Gary Van Atto's always tough team from Montevallo down there in central Alabama. And so I know that is going to be a tough one, and I hope you'll have the opportunity to listen to Gary Neese on 101.5 and have the opportunity to find out just how the outcome of that one is going to be. Union did lose one player who has opted out for the rest of the season, and that is Sadie Nee, who last year, you remember, she hit a big three-pointer to win it for the Lady Bulldogs against Montevallo on this floor in the first round of the Gulf South Conference tournament. But Sadie has opted to opt out for the remainder of the season. But Mark Campbell feels very good about his depth. And so both our teams will be taking the floor in Alabama against Montevallo on Thursday night. Our next telecast will be on Thursday night, January 20th. It'll be Union in West Florida, and if there's not any kind of COVID problems, then the airtime will be at 5:30. No, let's take that back. The airtime will be at 5:15, and the game will tip off at 5:30, so we hope you'll join us for that. Worthy Road Studios bringing you to it here on ePlus TV6, ePlusTV6.com, and UUathletics.com. One more time before we go, let me remind you about a very big special tonight. Comes your way at 7 o'clock right here on ePlus TV6 and ePlusTV6.com. Yeah, we're in black for a second, but here we go. We're going to be remembering this lady who left us last week on New Year's Day at the age of 99. She had 17 more days to go to reach 100. There will be some personal memories of times that I have shared with her that I hope you're going to enjoy, but we have 7 of her classic shows that we'll be showing you. Also, I'll have a well-known national author, and that is Wesley Hyatt, who wrote the book, Betty White on TV, as well as nationally syndicated entertainment writer Mark Berman. They'll be joining me to share their memories of this grand lady. So join us tonight. It's a 4-hour special. We go in one additional hour. We'll be on from 7 to 11 tonight. If you can't see it tonight, it'll be repeated tomorrow night, Sunday night, from 7 to 11, right here on ePlus TV6, as Steve Beverly's TV Classics remembers Betty White. Well, that does it from Fred DeLay Gymnasium this afternoon at Union University, and we'll tell you who all the good folks were who made this afternoon happen. Our director, Summer Sturgis, and our camera operators, Caleb Kendrick, Christopher Reasons, and Billy Bolin, and the executive producer of Worthy Road Studios, the ever-cool, ever-present Paul Schultze. I'm Steve Beverly, and until we're with you again on January 20th, I'm saying to all of you, as I always do, so long from the great hub city of West Tennessee.